Hey all, this is Owen Tsuboku and
The State Alchemist of Jackassery, Mr. Jherick at your service.
yes, and we're coming at you with the bigger review of Fullmetal Alchemist, the original episode 9, Beat Out for the People. You guys remember, if you guys remembered, I did my short review of it yesterday, so I will let Jherick take the reins and give his thoughts on it as I've been doing now with our reviews together. So have at it, Jherick.
And just to give you all an idea of what you're up against, this was my short list.
Well, holy crap. That's what I'll say. Or no, I'll even do one better. Shit.
Yeah. You guys have no idea how hard it is for me to itemize all the stuff into a short form review.
Actually, you and I both have that problem. I just stopped writing after a while.
Yeah. So the first thing I have, and by the way, I just barely took my medicine, so my apologies if I go a little hololive on you. But one of my favorite things about this was we still get to see the effects of what happened after the last episode, and it's really driving home. They're really doing a good job of driving home how the Elrics are having to adapt to the idea of now being military soldiers.
Mhm.
And basically the idea of having to grow up on the battlefield, which I got so many things to say about that, but I'll save that for like a later episode when it's more.
You know, Jherick, there shall be time. There
Yeah.
will be much revealed in the coming episodes.
Believe me.
Not to mention Brotherhood, because remember when we're done with season 1 here, we're going right back to Brotherhood. So
yeah, we all know the episode. Don't even lie. But
if I do, I'm sort of missing the point, but we won't talk about that right now.
Oh, you know it. Please don't put dirt on my daddy. He has to go to work tomorrow.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh
yeah.
God.
I mean, we just got through with the Nina Einstein Metal Alchemist. Give my heart time.
Well, remember, it's still a sad thing in Brotherhood too. But you and I, not to interject again, but you and I talked about how that just happens so soon, and because of what they're building here, it's gonna hit harder when that happens.
Oh, dude, that funeral scene in original hits so much harder than in Brotherhood.
Yes. But anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
But when there's a scene where they're talking and Winry, I believe Edward tells her, Winry, we have no home to go home to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's arguably one of the most beautiful double metaphors they've ever done in this series, possibly in all of anime, really, because number one, it's a metaphor for young men having to go off to war and then having no real familiar home to go to. Like anybody who knows somebody who served in Vietnam knows exactly what you're talking about. You go home, you go off to war, you're married, you have a family, they love you. People are calling you a hero. You come back, you're divorced, you've lost your house, you're broke, everybody hates you. Like they had to sneak people back in a C-130, people. Shit happened. Bad shit happens.
Well, yeah.
And even the people who did come back to at least reasonable families, you're never the same. The explosions, the gunfire, you come home and even if it's still the same as you remember, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So one way or the other, it's home, but it's not really home anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, and also to put the fun point on it that I did yesterday was the fact that it wasn't really full-on military stuff for them per se yet, but the fact is that both Winry and Edward were kidnapped by Barry the Chopper and put through that ordeal. Still pretty much the same sort of thing where, they're both given the nuances where we want to be happy for each other right now, but they both see that. Do you want to talk about it? No. Do you want to talk about it? No. Okay.
And again, we just got through with the whole Nina Einstein thing. So,
that too.
Not Nina Einstein. Sorry. Nina Tucker. Yeah, sorry, I'm being traumatized by a different anime. Table Coon. Anyways.
Probably don't want to know right now at this point.
If you're a Code Geass fan, you know. But number two, it's also a metaphor for how when they open the door of truth, a.k.a. knowledge, and have lost their innocence as a result, just as Adam and Eve did when they ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden, losing their home for all of eternity.
Yeah.
Which, again, I know this probably wasn't intentional on Romi Arakawa's part, but brilliant. I don't even give a damn.
Well, it is, even if she didn't mean that, and if it was unintentional. I mean, again, you could read a little much into that, but that does make a parallel to it. So I agree with that.
So, even though we have our reservations about certain interpretations she has, the Japanese use of wordplay, the clever little saying it without saying it, plus this absolutely magnificent double metaphor. I mean, good Lord, people, you could write college theses on this kind of stuff.
Well, again, and to placate what you said there too, not so much the original, at least for me, but Brotherhood, yeah, because I noticed Brotherhood gets way more into the political angle of it, and again, as you know, what we've talked about already. I know why she probably put this in because of the connections to World War II, everything else and stuff like that. But then we look at it with some of the characters in Brotherhood and her viewpoint, since it is more based off the manga, and it's like,
well, I mean, hey,
I'm
the asshole whose favorite Final Fantasy is 12, and that's got way too much politics in it. Like, seriously, if you're not a Game of Thrones or a fan of like HBO's Rome, that game is going to go way over your head.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's this episode perfectly highlights the nature of like rural town politics versus big city politics. Because let's see, and the danger of the top-down bureaucratic oversight on lesser outposts and fortifications.
So you're talking about Useway, right? Just to make sure I'm clear on where you're at. When they go to not Useway, Usewell, when they go to the mining town.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And oddly enough, if you're old enough to remember Midnight Oil, Australia's answer to U2,
not really.
their lead singer used to be the mayor of I believe it was Sydney, Australia, Peter Garrett. There's a song from the Diesel and Dust album, I believe, called Blue Sky Mining, which beautifully encapsulates this idea perfectly, like the overtaxation on the people, the poverty, the desperation. Do I protest or do I just keep working my job enough to put enough food on the table and hope things get better?
Mm-hmm.
And this episode is pretty much a beautiful encapsulation of that with a certain Jing bastard going full Jing bastard on the people with taxation, which again kind of reminds me of like the attempted Amakusa Shiro Tokisada rebellion of the what was it? The Tokugawa shogunate period.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you bring that up, and I'll basically, because I forgot to mention this, and if I was going to say, I forgot to mention it yesterday, but I'll mention it now. It's funny how Japanese man with Japanese name in a German town with German name and German people, or German-like people, is the lieutenant who basically controls the town and the mine. So, interesting.
And all he's missing is like the little Chinese soul patch, the full Van Dyke, and he'd be a full Fu Manchu.
Oh well, he didn't. When people see the thumbnail I put up, if you guys don't know what Yogi looks like, I know in Brotherhood it's all bent and crooked because he already got defeated by the Alrex off screen. It's just like this thing that sticks up and just like that they do right.
Or you know what? It's like perhaps you've met my European cousin, Snidely Whiplash.
That too.
Still chasing the Mountie, I hear.
Yes, that too. So indeed.
And of course, it like seeing the town basically charge. I love the kids' reactions, like, "Daddy, we've got a rich big spender from out of town." It's like, it sounds crazy, but if you've gone to enough tourist traps like Tombstone, Arizona, yeah, it's not a joke. This is how things are, especially mining towns. Mining towns or places that basically have like nothing in them except for like that one thing. Heck, Final Fantasy VII did that too. Like the time when he meets, when Zack Fair meets Cloud Strife, and he's like, "Yeah, you're from Nibelheim? Yeah, and the only thing we have in Nibelheim is the Mako reactor." Yeah, it's not even a joke, people. There are towns like that all over the place, and this is what happens. 2,000 gold for a room? That's highway robbery. Hey, it's the finest inn in town. I might also add, it's the only inn in town, and all the other ones would charge you the same price. This happens all the time. If you go to tourist places, whether rich or poor, yeah, If you go to, by the way, if you, for whatever reason, go to Japan, do your research. Kyoto, places like that. Oh, they do this to you all the time. If they know you're American, hey, mister, you need help finding your way around? $50. So stuff like
boy,
this.
You're gonna love that when we review Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I've known people who have been to these places. Oh, you'll get wonderful happy endings for the right price. Can I need a little of this, soldier?
Why am I in a ditch?
What happened to my clothes? Where's my kidney? Sorry. But and then there's the wonderful hypocrisy of it, him using the phrase, be thou of the people. Now, this is going to really hit a lot of bitches hard because this is from Buddhism. Well, a sect. Well, was it Buddhism or Hindu? But
could also be Taoism too. Taoism.
I have it here. It's from the, pardon my butchering of this, the Baha'u'llah Spiritual Strength for Men. Look, people, I don't speak the language, okay? Just go easy on me with the translations here.
It's all right.
Then there's the fact his enforcer is a cute little girl by the name of Lyra, which apparently, kind of harkens back to the lyre, the musical instrument played by Orpheus in Paradise Lost. And not Paradise Lost. Now I forgot what it's called. Damn it. Old age, boomer confirmed. But yeah, the musical instrument, the lyre, which, fun fact for you Persona 3 fans, your starting out persona is Orpheus. And that little thing he's strumming when he says, I am the master of the strings, is a lyre. And her alchemy, and I love this part too, she's like how she's utilizes an attack similar to, get ready, Marvel fans, because here's your geeky moment. Similar to the Herald of Galactus, referred to as Saint Airwalker, which, fun fact, I believe was either his first or second herald. Yeah, I forget if he was the one before the Silver Surfer or after, but yeah, he was one of the earliest ones. And also, he wasn't a person. He was actually an android constructed in the image of the person who swore to become a Herald of Galactus. And basically, he could manipulate air, like to a cosmic level. I actually have an Excalibur comic where Captain Britain gets in a fight with him, and he blocks all of his attacks with just highly concentrated air particles. It's actually kind of ridiculous, but hey, what about Excalibur isn't? But one of my favorite lines in this entire thing, this place is our home and coffin, is what one of the men tells Edward Elric when he's asked.
that was hauling.
Yeah, when he's asked, why don't you, if things are so bad here, why don't you just leave? And it's like, this place is our home and our coffin. This is kind of a sentiment I understand perfectly because as crazy as Tucson's starting to get, I was born here. I will die here. You will take my home from me, from my cold, dead fingers. And if you want me to leave, you're taking my corpse over the border. This is basically how rural town people think. We were born here. We have history here. You want us gone, you better have enough soldiers to get the job done.
Yeah, that is our home. This is who we are. There really is nothing elsewhere.
Well, and again, like that scene in Chernobyl, it's like a disaster, you say. It's always a disaster. There have been disasters before, there have been ones after, and still my family stays.
Yep.
If you remember that scene, you know.
No.
And this also kind of goes back to one of my favorite things about Fallout New Vegas, specifically the Lonesome Road DLC, where they always bring up the fact all roads lead home. Because no matter where you go, home is always in your heart in one way or another. You're always trying to go back there, even if you don't remember where your home is, which, again, one of my favorite things for the U2 song, Walk On. And, of course, we have to bring up the fact Winry is best girl because she's always best girl.
Yeah.
And wait, that's getting a little ahead of myself. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Again, autism.
You wrote notes on the side.
I ran out of room.
Indeed, Jherick, indeed.
Remember, people, this is the abridged version. This was originally like 3 to 4 pages long. Oh, and possibly the best thing Edward has done thus far. Like all the clever shit, all the crazy shit. Edward Elric in this episode out Biden's Biden. How? When he sees how shitty, Yoki is treating the people and realizing they have no hope because he basically owns the whole fucking town and he can do whatever he wants. And Edward knows, the bigger alchemists upstairs aren't going to do shit to stop this guy as long as he gets, he keeps things quiet, which again, kind of normal for these sorts of situations. What does he decide to do? I'll buy the town. What happens if you don't have enough money to buy the town? Oh, I don't know. We could just print money or maybe alchemize it.
Yep.
This is perhaps one of the most Edward Elric things ever. And if you ever wondered why we're pissed off with Brotherhood for not giving us more details as to why Yoki hates the Elric brothers, this is the episode why.
Yeah.
He basically gets a gigantic ton of whatever they were mining, more than likely lead or coal or whatever.
I think that was coal, coal.
And he just gets a little bit of the gold he had saved over after the Winry shopping spree from last episode and turns it all into gold temporarily.
Yeah.
And just massively bluffs this bitch out of the whole mining town. It's like, I have all this, I have all this gold lying around and I've been looking to add a little something to my portfolio. Oh, but it would look really bad if I went back to Central with all these new property things. And how would I manage this town and also deal with my state alchemy duties? Unless I could unload it onto somebody who was, trustworthy and is reliable enough to handle these sorts of things. Oh, I'd be happy to. Oh, but I might need this in writing just to clear it with the higher ups. He bullshits this motherfucker so hard that he can't do anything.
Well, and he also played to his ego as well, making sure the greed won out for Yoki for him. Because I was saying that Yoki was hesitant. He wanted to take it, but he also was fearful of giving it up. Then Edward played to the ego and the ego of his greed to get it to happen, and that's how it all played out.
It was neat too because at the beginning we see him, realize this kid's, he recognizes he's a state alchemist, but it was after he witnessed Edward basically analyze Lyra's wind attack completely on the first try with no necessary explanation that he realizes this kid's on a different level. Yeah. So he tries to basically wine and dine him to get him on his side because, he is here for an inspection by order of Roy Mustang. Mm-hmm. And he begins to, notice he can tell how this guy thinks. He knows what a sleazeball this dude is. He's already been balls deep in him for a while now. So, of course, while he's doing this, he's just playing all the right cards. It's like, oh, well, I wouldn't want this transaction to, cause any disturbances that could cause irregularities for such hardworking alchemists like ourselves, because we are, after all, be thou of the people. And he's just stroking this dude's ego, getting him to purr like a kitten. Yeah. And it works. And then, of course, he comes back after the gold is worn off. What's going on, Eric? You swindled me. I'm ruined. You tricked me out of the mining town. Tricked you? Oh, no. As I recall, you gave it to me of your own free will. Why, I even have this nice documentation here to prove it. Mm-hmm. It's like, see, that's your signature. It's just the most beautiful con game you've ever seen since The Sting with Robert Redford. Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, and also I, just to be me, I have to point out, Edward did such a good job conning this guy out of this primo real estate. Hey, watch out, Hillary. You got competition. Somebody's a bigger bullshit artist in real estate than you are.
Indeed.
And of course, there's also, this also kind of, I love the fact that we're seeing, other alchemists with different alchemy abilities. But if this Lyra girl ever thought she was getting state alchemist level, she's shitting herself, because that charge command input takes way too long. And Edward does what any good character does when you see a charge character who's got a way too long of a charge animation. So you can.
Well, yeah, and what I said was, given how you were saying how she still did what she did with Yoki because, as I put, she thought it was still for the good of the state. But I liked how I went over when Edward defeated her really quick, how she had that look of where she's mad at him, but he just looks at her with pity, and then she like looks away in disgust because I always said at that moment she knew that Edward was right and that she messed up, that she realized that she did a wrong thing. And it's like, well, yeah, now you got to pay the piper because you realized it a bit too late that, like you said, I didn't sell my soul to the state. You were still doing this because you were dumb enough to believe this guy was saying it was good for the state. Ha ha ha! You tricks hussy, you.
Well, and again, it kind of goes back to like the episode where Show Tucker gets arrested, where this time instead of it being the higher up who's basically got screwed over by a guy who was making himself out to be a bigger deal than he was. Now you got a girl who has ambitions, basically protecting an asshole who's never going to amount to anything, but he's got this one person on his team who's got some middling talent.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if he had been able to keep his promise to her and she did get State Alchemist, then she wouldn't be his subordinate. They'd move her to someone more competent and he'd be screwed. So
yeah. And to reiterate the point, like I said, folks, Yoki in the manga was by himself. He did not have Lyra with him. Lyra was added for the anime to give it a little thing. And I'm sort of looking at it now, I'm glad they added Lyra because Lyra posed a threat with this alchemist who had a modicum of talent, like Jherick said, instead of just, Yoki and his men, threatening and posing, and, these miners can't fight back. But with Lyra there, it sort of gave the reason why they couldn't, because she had a power that they couldn't defend against. So I sort of liked it, even though she wasn't there in the manga, but it made a lot more sense than just, because in the manga, it was two guys, in the anime, it was two guys, and it's like, you really can't stop these two guys who seem to be the only soldiers here.
It's like the Scooby-Doo paradox. You got one asshole in a costume. You got 5 fucking kids. One's a karate expert. One's a musclehead. One's a beatnik. The other one's a bitch. And the other one's a talking dog. I think we all know who wins. Now cut it out with the traps and get shit done. I mean, that's the thing. These are all minor people. Even if they get the black lung, you have to imagine these people are strong enough to whoop some ass. And with pickaxes, it'd be a short fight.
Well, it'd be like, I wish it was like that scene in Chernobyl. Go ahead, you'll get some of us, but you won't get all of us.
Exactly. And that's the problem, because even if hypothetically they did get all these guys, then that mining operation would be shut down. The higher ups would realize something's wrong with this one operation, and Yoki's ruin died either way. So it actually really highlights the weird politics of like rural towns under the command of like a much bigger military force.
Yeah, and again, it shows, like I said, it goes to show why I appreciate the manga. I like what Hiromu Arikawa did. I know it sounds like we bitch a lot about her, guys, but I mean, again, this is why I can like things they added and maybe things they didn't. And Lyra being there gave Yoki some legit muscle, even though not much. It was some legit muscle. You could see where the guys would be intimidated. But hey, but go ahead, Jherick. You got anything else before we hit the next bit?
Yeah, and well, she also looked very cute in a maid outfit. So
well, nice. he had a lot of sexy looking people in maid outfits, which I'm interesting for you, you perv.
And again, this that scene also kind of demonstrates a lot of what this was trying to hammer home. Like, the people are in poverty. Meanwhile, he's got this big ass fucking mansion, a nice huge filet mignon. Very nice, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My mom makes excellent filet mignon, by the way. And I mean, wonderful little maid outfits for the girls. A lot of them. I'm thinking maybe he's friends with Lee from Tekken. Why, yes, this is my nice estate. 72 rooms, all outfitted with garments perfectly suited for young ladies of your own pleasure. By the way, that animated movie is fucking hilarious. School teacher, and he's got a 72-room mansion with maid outfits. I love you, Lee. Never change. But as for like the last part, well, we get to the voice acting, and Winry again. Best girl, because how could she not be? Vic alchemizes another perfect performance.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, he's Vic Banyana. We know he's gonna. And strangely enough, for my third pick, Hulling as best dad. Yeah, he pulled in a really great performance. Anger, fear, wanting to keep his kid safe, concerned about his kid.
Yep.
And plus the name Holling for a guy working at a mining town, like really Robo Arakawa?
Yeah.
Are we getting to Gundam levels of bad names here?
Ironic. Basically, Jherick, you and I had the same people, except mine was a little different. I did give it to both Edward and Alphonse, both for giving good performances. Again, Vic Mignogna, Aaron Dismuke, Romy Paku, Rie Kugamiya, great voices for both around. And I did give Holling, Chris Rager, Joji Nakata, for those of you who know the Japanese voice work of Joji Nakata. Alucard, well, probably known for that. I realized looking when they give you the Japanese voices in English, I've got quite a few anime that Joji Nakata is a part of, which is rather hilarious in my opinion. But hey. And let's see, what is it here too? Oh, yes. And then for my third pick, I did different than you. You chose Winry. Winry, much like Roy Mustang, this one was a dark horse favorite of mine, but I had to go with Yoki. Because Yoki, Barry Yandel, Kazuki Yao, sniveling, conniving, creep, guy who wanted power, the lead, the lead, the greed and the lust, and just when everything backfired and failed, just great performances all around. So that's the one difference I chose. But dang, I didn't know you were going to go with Holling. That surprised me.
Honestly, I might, as much as I hate to bump Winry off the list, I might have to go with Yoki because you're right. This really was arguably the best performance we've seen of Yoki thus far, and perfectly encapsulates this kind of person.
And he's not a joke. You can see how much of a bastard this guy is. We're Brotherhood. We just see him right off as the joke.
Well, and it's kind of funny too because it shows like he can be, once he has enough power, once he has enough position, but once you take that away. We get like what he was in Brotherhood. So it was kind of nice to actually see him back in his game.
Yeah.
Back when he was a threat.
Exactly. Well, and to know just how corrupt the politics of that town and of somewhat of the state, as we know so far, could be. And, because that's the thing, just what people know. And it was a great encapsulation of it. Plus, Barry Yenda, like acting so conniving and so that, oh, you do understand, don't you? This is such a trifle matter. Don't trifle yourself. Tush, here, let's enjoy more filet mignon. And how about some more money while we're at it?
He was such an absolute sleazeball in this. I hate to say this. I would love to see him become a subordinate of Frieza.
It probably would work.
Could you imagine him, Frieza, and Zarbon? Just like, which one goes full Nathan Lane first?
It probably would be him, but other than that. but yeah, overall, what do you guys think? Do you agree with any of Jherick's thoughts? Do you agree with any of what I added here today or my thoughts from yesterday? And anything with that going forward? Because again, and like I'll put again, do you guys like how this episode is here? And if you want to put in the comments, do you actually like that they skipped it in Brotherhood? How many of you, if you want to admit, saw Brotherhood first, even knew what really happened to Yoki if you didn't see the original anime or read the manga? Just leave a comment down below and let us know. Until then, Oman Boku.
And your local friendly real estate jackass. And don't worry, I assure you the gold is real.
Don't trust that. And we'll see you guys again soon, all right? See ya.
Deuces. Oh, man, that was fun.
Yeah.